You know, we talk about this 2020 campaign, but of course it's just fun and games, you know. Dan Howell's never gonna run for office. He's definitely not gonna tweet that he's gonna run for office. Oh no. Oh God, no. Oh, he actually did it. Oh, rats. Oh man. Well, at least we haven't heard anything from Whoopi Goldberg this week. She definitely wasn't trending on Twitter. Oh no, Whoop Gold's in the race too. I've wished all this stuff into existence. Elijah Daniel has bought a town and renamed it Gay Hell. Daniel Howell had a perfectly inappropriate birthday cake. James Charles has returned to YouTube and everyone's shook sis. And of course it's the return of YouTuber Watch. Who'll be this week? All this plus we'll play the entirety of Cars 2 uninterrupted from start to finish on this week's edition of YouTuber News. Hosted by me, Benedict Townsend, and brought to you by PopBuzz, the only website that gives you a little kiss every time you click on it. Clicky clicky. Welcome to PopBuzz. Pretty scared about this Dan Howell running for office thing. Not to mention the Whoop Gold thing, am I right, Rat? Well, at least we're best friends. You definitely won't betray me and run for president all by yourself again. Right? Right? Our first story, YouTuber Elijah Daniel has bought a town in Michigan and renamed it Gay Hell. It's a story you love to hear, folks. Yes, the YouTuber purchased the entire town in protest of the Trump administration's recent policy on pride flags. They said that they don't want pride flags flying at US embassies during Pride Month. Elijah took exception to this, as did many of the people who worked at the embassies, and so he decided to do what any of us would do in that situation: purchase an entire town and make it gay, baby! And in his first act as town owner, I don't really know what you call a person who owns a townsman, I guess, a townsman. And then maybe over time in history that gets changed a bit from townsmen to Townsend to Townsend. Maybe Benedict Townsend could be your name because you own so many towns because you're so rich from your YouTube news show. Maybe that could be the situation. PopBuzz, click. Sorry, I went somewhere else there for a second. Yes, in his first act as owner of the town, he made it illegal to fly any flags apart from the pride flag, in clear retaliation to the previously mentioned pride flag policy. If you try and fly another flag there, I don't know what happens. I assume you're killed. According to Elijah, this town has everything. It has a library, it has a bar called the Hellhole, and it even has a chapel where, in his words, you can get gay married. So if any of you are looking to get gay married in Gay Hell, this is the perfect place to do it. Happy Pride. Our second story. Speaking of rainbows, Dan Howell had a perfect birthday cake for his recent birthday, and happy birthday, Dan. It said, Big D's, Big B. And Dan posted a picture of that with the caption, my most appropriate yet inappropriate birthday cake yet. And that cake, of course, had a big rainbow on it and also had rainbow inside, because you may not know this, but bakers will sometimes cook using rainbows as an ingredient. They steal them from the sky. I don't know, I failed food tech at school. I got a U in food tech, but an A in YouTube news. Now, why exactly would Dan Howell be having a rainbow cake? Seems like a curious choice for Dan Howell, a famously straight man. A man who has made no recent comments about his sexuality. Just kidding. Of course, Dan Howell recently posted a video called Basically I'm Gay. We spoke about it a little bit last week, but he revealed, well, he didn't want to put a label on it, but he's not straight. He's an LGBT boy, and we support him all the way. And so he's got himself a lovely rainbow cake, and we think that's fantastic. And so did the rest of the internet. One person online commented, coming out one day and then licking a slice of rainbow cake that says D's the next day is queer excellence. While someone else added simply, oh God, he's unstoppable now! And that's great in the sense of he's unstoppable in his personal confidence. If they are saying he's unstoppable in terms of his ability to run for president in 2020, then I am worried. Because once again, I am running for president in 2020 along with the Rat. And my main opponent is Dan Howell and also Whoop Gold. And Whoop got herself into some real trouble this week when she made some comments about Bella Thorne's clothing. And we won't get into that because that's not a joke, that's quite serious. But the important thing is this, and I cannot stress this enough. As president, I will make crime illegal. Dan Howell, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he loves crimes and he wants them to be legal. Make crime illegal. Look, am I pointing something? It seems that Dan has really been thriving ever since he posted that video. He's been getting tons of messages of support from fans and from fellow YouTubers. James Charles wrote, so happy for you. Happy Pride, King. While Thomas Sanders, the most pure man alive, tweeted, amazing, incredibly happy for you. Man, I wish you all the happiness and acceptance you deserve. And I bet he didn't mean for the word man to be said really weirdly like that, but I did it anyway, like an old hippie. In conclusion, happy Pride Month to Dan Howell specifically. We are whizzing through them today. Speed, efficiency. That's Toyota, baby. And this episode is brought to you by Toyota, the only car company where the wheels fall off on purpose. Just add Toyota to the list of people I'm currently being sued by. This is Dan Howell, the entire rat industry, Whoopi Goldberg. If I didn't make £1 million an episode, I'd be quite worried about this list. I'll put this in this pocket that I don't have. Our third story, speaking of rainbows, hold on, I think we... Our third story, and speaking of rainbows, someone called James Charles. Apparently this guy's a YouTuber, I've never heard of him before. Must keep a pretty low profile. Apparently he's returned to YouTube and he's done makeup. And apparently this is news. I don't know why it would be. I mean, plenty of people do makeup, plenty of YouTubers. Apparently this guy took a bit of a hiatus from YouTube. Strange that this is... Just kidding! It's James Charles, isn't it? He's got 2 first names for his full name, and everything that happens around him is a wacky time. I feel like this week I'm substituting jokes with just yelling. Yes, James returned to YouTube and he showed off a brand new Pride-inspired look where he had a rainbow pattern on his eyelids. But the best part of all this is that James said that all the money that the video generates through its ads will be donated to the Trevor Project, which is a fantastic charity which aims to save LGBTQ lives. It's a really important cause, and James is giving all his money to there in celebration of Pride, which is fantastic. Because, you know, James has had a pretty tumultuous year. People aren't really sure if he's a good guy or he's a bad guy. Who knows? And in many ways, who cares? But this is undeniably a really good thing to do, and we'd like to see more of this. So good on you, James, and happy Pride to you as well. I'm just handing out happy Pride as if I have any authority to do that. And hey, seeing as we're doing so much Pride fun, let's have a very, very quick cheeky fourth. Welcome to Cheeky Fourth, where we do a story very quickly. This week's story is just that Eugene Lee Yang from the Try Guys came out this week, and he did it in the most epic coming out video I've ever seen. It had choreography, it had costumes, it was so elaborate, and that's it, that's the story. The story is that this video is good. And congrats to Eugene, and happy Pride to you. You can have one more of those. This has been a Cheeky Fourth. Now it's time for YouTuber Watch, a popular segment where I zero in on one YouTuber and tell you what they got up to this week. And this week, well, seeing as we've already talked about him, that's right, it's time for Rat Watch. Rat Watch? No, we watch enough of the rat as it is. Although I know all of you would happily watch a show called Rat Watch instead of whatever I do. No, it's not time for Rat Watch. It's time for Dan How Watch. Oh, what? Now you're mad at me? You wanted your own show? Well, grind for 25 years like I did, then keep grinding for another 30 years until you're 55, my current age, and then you can have your own show, rat. Then you can have your own show. Don't you use that language with me. Welcome to Dan How Watch. What's Dan been up to this week? Well, as you know, Dan How coming out in that epic video has sent him skyrocketing in the presidential polls. And now if we check in on the polls, see how it's doing, okay, Benedict and the Rat, 3% of the vote. Okay, that's not very high, but that might be all right. Dan How, 97% of the vote. Ooh, you hate to see it. So it seems that once again the 2020 race is racing on. You guys thought it was over, but no, much like a very tired cow, we will keep milking this until it has died. So, what's Dan been doing this week for his campaign? Well, his previous slogan, I'm Dan, didn't do that well. He's got a brand new slogan, I'm not Benedict, and this slogan has really helped him in the polls, which I'm not gonna lie, hurts my feelings and my physical body, because I have a condition where if you insult me, I start bleeding. It's called emotional stigmata, and I don't love it, I also don't hate it. This shirt was white when I bought it, but luckily me and the Rat are a united front. The Rat and I, we're a team. I'll be president, and he'll be the lowly little vice president. I'll be basically the king, and he'll be my court jester. And that's just the way it is. Huh. You've gone very quiet, Rat. Is everything all right? You wouldn't think of splintering off and starting your own campaign again, would you? Just because you were vastly more popular than me and you want to be president. You wouldn't think of doing that, would you, Rat? Cool. Sick. I guess I'll see you at hockey later. This has been Dan How Watch. Dan How was barely in it. I looked at the bylaws for YouTuber News, and as long as you say the word Dan How once, it counts as a Dan How Watch, so that's what I'm doing these days. Before we wrap up, one little message. We recently hit 100,000 subscribers on the YouTuber News YouTube channel, which is amazing, and thank you so much to everyone who supported the show. It started off as just a boy and a rat with a pocket full of dreams, and also years and years of work and several editors and producers, but mainly the dreams. And it's fantastic that you guys have supported the show, because in my mind, this show is utter trash. So thank you for supporting the show, and happy Pride. Here, you can have my last happy Pride. PopBuzz, I'm Benedict Townsend, and this has been YouTuber News, which airs every week right here on the YouTuber News YouTube channel, and also over on Snapchat Discover if you want it in a more portrait mode flavor. If you've enjoyed today's show, only if you've enjoyed it, please could you hit like? It genuinely really helps us out with the YouTube algorithms and stuff. YouTube's crazy. But until then, I'll be back next week with more YouTuber news, more rat-based content. And if you love the Rat, don't forget to comment down below, #LoveTheRat. It is very important that the Rat knows how loved he is. I'll be back next week with more YouTuber news, more 2020 updates. Plus, I'll give you my secret porridge recipe. And I'll leap over the desk and punch you straight in the chops. Look forward to it. Now we're in the end segment that I can never do correctly. Click here if you want to see last week's episode. It's a good one. Click here if you want to subscribe. I recommend you do. You get new episodes first, and you can click here for a random third video. And until then, I will be reciting the alphabet from memory. A, C. First hurdle.